I don't know why when people get angry at me, they call me Little Miss Perfect. I don't think I'm perfect. I've literally never said that or thought it. I had to think to myself, am I exhibiting behaviors that make people draw that conclusion? What am I saying? What am I doing? It gives off the impression that I think that, or leaves that impression with people. Why do you feel that way? Why am I internalizing something you projected onto me because that's how you feel about me? I don't know. I'm trying to figure stuff out. I'm so intrigued by psychology and how people think and how people view each other and how they get along, why they don't get along. I've always had these thoughts, even as a very small child. Like in my mind, I was always trying to solve major world problems. Like if I was in charge and I had to solve world hunger, how would I do it? Because I've always had problems with sleeping. Like I've always had insomnia. Several of my children are that way as well. So I would just like talk to God and play with my stuffed animals all night. And then I would have to go to school around 7 something, but like I would go to sleep at 5:30 or 6 in the morning. So I had a lot of time. I would think so much. And then I grew up to understand that the creative mind manifests. I didn't know that. Imagination is how you create. And then that's scary because I've seen a lot of parents discourage imagination in their children. You know, they'll tell them to stop making up fantastical stories or to stop saying ridiculous things. But I'm kind of into ridiculous things because that's how you make cool stuff happen. I'm a ridiculous thing. I can be hypocritical, very much gray area with some things. My son Ra is not like that. With him, things are either white or black. But for me, gray area. Because something can be and also not be. And that is its nature. So uh, it may seem like it's going against its own definition, but that is its nature. Like a contrary nature, some things have a contrary nature. Just like if you look up certain words in the English dictionary, it'll have two completely different meanings, but it's the same word. People are like this in the same way, you know. So sometimes you can feel up and down about one situation, and it's all true. I don't think I'm perfect. People misunderstand me a lot. A lot. What frustrates me is when someone tries to tell me my intention. Like, you're only saying this because of that, or you're only doing this because of that. I don't understand. I don't know why people do that because I feel like I'm very upfront with why I do things, and I feel like I'm very open with how I feel. So when I tell someone how I feel and they don't accept it, and they're like, "No, you're doing it because of this," it's like, so you are not here to understand me. You are here to project onto me how you feel about me. Well, honey, you could have just said that, and I wouldn't have bothered to even explain myself because you did not come with listening ears. I've kind of gotten used to being misunderstood, but I don't make it this tragic thing. I look at it as a challenge. I challenge myself to explain myself better and to be able to pick up on when someone is determined not to understand me and not waste my time or theirs, because I'm not here to convince anyone of anything. I'm here to grow and expand and to give back to the world more than I take from it. I remember being a very young child and reading about great people in history. People have been dead for thousands of years, but people still spoke their name and spoke about their deeds and the effects of decisions that they made and actions that they were brave enough to take. When everyone was against them, they were bold and brave enough and confident enough, even in their fear and even at risk of death, to stand against the rising tide, and the things that they did reverberate into history. Like, that spoke to me. And I remember saying, I'm going to be great. Like, if I don't have a life like that, then life ain't worth living. So honestly, developing myself into the greatest version of me is my main focus, and also helping my children realize that for them. I don't see anything else being more important, simply because gaining wealth, that's cool or whatever, but it's like, once you achieve that, then what? There's more than enough money, and I just don't want that to be the main focus of my life. I'm more interested in information and learning how to manipulate energy. I don't know. That's what Nikola Tesla was talking about. Learning to manipulate energy. And he learned how to do that. And I think that is so cool. Like, back in the day, there were real sorcerers that did practical magic, you know? And it's just science. It becomes magic when there's an spiritual aspect introduced to science. It becomes magic. And it's so easy to do. And it's, like I said, very practical. I'll give you an example. I have this spell, and I made it up. Magic is made up for the most part. Most of its power comes from your belief in it, just like a prayer. Whenever I lose something, I will tell the object to reveal itself to me, and it works every single time. It's just more like aligning yourself with your goal. It ain't really too much more than that. It's not like hocus pocus. Again, just science. But the belief brings a spiritual aspect to it. And it's just something that brings you closer to creation, I believe. I just want to like align with nature and align with the natural energies of the earth to empower myself and then feed life into others. And then it's just this, you know? I'm trying to find out how to get my frequency up enough to step into another timeline where I don't have to pay rent and you sitting up here telling me that I think I'm perfect. You have been misinformed, friend. I love you. Don't let the doubt of others be poured into you or weaken your resolve. Your ideas are your own. Your style is your own. How you move is your own. And it's not going to look like anybody else's idea or movement or decision for their life. Families are different, genetics are different, thought processes are different, and they're not wrong. Even if you don't agree with them, like, you know, it's not necessarily wrong. And like, you know when you wrong, but I'm just saying different doesn't necessarily mean wrong, y'all. We all know when something wrong because you feel it. It's obvious. But I love you, and if no one has ever given you any encouragement to stay authentic and to be brave enough to live a life in your own truth and to be bold and unafraid to live in your own truth, please let me be the first one to tell you it ain't easy, but I support you 100%. I don't want you to feel alone. So many of my subscribers feel alone in their journeys, and you're not, yo. You're here for a reason. If you have aligned with me in this video, then we are on the same path and we can help each other out. You're not alone, and I love you. Peace.